Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shawn. If you're new here, welcome in, and a special shout out to my channel members as well as my current subscribers. Welcome back. So in today's video, I'm going to show you the process that I use to create these 3D puff shirt designs. Now it is going to be pretty much like the same process that you would do for a hat. 3D puff is most common on hats, but people are now starting to do them on garments. So I'm going to show you my step-by-step process, and it's really simple to do your 3D designs. But the most important thing, you have to make sure that your design is digitized for puff. You cannot just take a regular embroidery font, say if you have a patch design or something like that, and try and add foam and do a puff design. It's not going to end well. Let me tell you, it may stitch out, but when it gets done, it's not going to look good at all. So if you're digitizing your design, you want to make sure that you're digitizing your designs for 3D puff. So you're going to have to make some adjustments to your designs. And then the difference between doing puffs on the shirt and the hat, with the hats, you want to digitize from the center out, bottom up. So it'll start in the center, and then it'll stitch up, and then it'll start stitching out the rest of the design on a hat. When you do it on a shirt or a garment or a tote bag or whatever, then you can just have it stitch out regularly. It doesn't have to start from the center. So this is one of the designs, and I'm going to show you the differences in the two foams types I like to use. With this one, I use 6mm foam. Now normally I use either 3mm or 6mm depending on how 3D I want the design to look. So I'm going to show you the difference on these two hats so you can get a good idea. So this one is with 3mm foam, and this one is with 6mm. So you can see the difference in how they puff up. I mean, both of them still have a really good puff, but of course that 6mm is going to give you that really big 3D look, and that 3mm is going to give you like a raised look, but it still looks good. It's still going to stand out. So those are the two different foam sizes I like to use. This one I use 6mm, and then the two hats, and then I have a piece of each here. So this one is a 6mm here, and this is a 3mm. So you kind of get an idea as to the thickness of each of them. So it really just depends on how 3D you want your design to look. So I'm actually going to use the 6mm on my design, and I'm gonna actually have to cut this down a little bit. So you'll just need your foam, whatever type of, whichever size foam that you're going to use. You're gonna need your shirt or whatever garment, and as well as some stabilizer. I'm putting mine on a shirt, so I'm using cutaway stabilizer. And so I'm gonna cut my foam down, and then we're gonna go over and get this all hooped up, and then from there we'll go to the machine and let it stitch out. All right, guys, so I'm going to be using my 8x13 Mighty Hoop. And so I'm going to go ahead and put that here, make sure that's good. And then I'm going to add my stabilizer. Again, I'm using cutaway stabilizer because I'm putting this on a shirt. And I forgot, this is a long sleeve shirt, so I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use a short sleeve shirt to make this one. And let me just check what other colors I have, because I wanted to do another color besides black, but I might not have another color. Yeah, I'll just stick with that one. Had to go check my stash real quick. So I have everything where it needs to be. My shirt, I'm lining it up, the seams with the top right here. And then I'm gonna go ahead and get my top hoop, and simple as that. And go ahead and we're gonna take this over to the machine. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and get my hoop onto my machine. There we go, that's locked in. And then from here, I already have my design up, so I'm just going to select my color. And since I switched to a black shirt instead of white, instead of black, I'm gonna go ahead and switch it to white as far as the color. All right, and then I think I'm good there. So I'm gonna go ahead and then I'm going to move it up just a little bit. Just a little bit, let's see. And I'm gonna do a trace right there so I can see how that looks. And I'm actually grabbing a piece of black foam because now I'm gonna, or actually, wait a minute. No, I don't even need black foam, y'all. I'm tripping. Okay, so the thing with foam is, that's why I was about to grab black foam. If I was doing black on black, I would use black foam. So I'm using white thread, so you want to use white foam. Whatever color thread you're using, you want to have that exact same foam so no foam shows through. So if I was to say use this white foam and use a black thread, some of that foam will probably show through regardless of how tight you have your stitches. When you're digitizing your design, some may still show through. So you always want to make sure your foam matches your thread color. So the two takeaways, if you don't remember anything else from this video, remember that your design has to be digitized for puff and that you want your foam to match whatever color thread that you're using. So now that I did the area trace, I'm gonna hold down needle 1 and I'm gonna do a design trace just to make sure it's where I want it. And I actually want to move it up a little bit more. So I'm going to do another trace, make sure that it's not too close to that hoop. And that's the area trace, and then I'm going to go back and do a design trace and make sure that everything is good to go. Okay, I think that works for me. I kind of want to move it up a little bit, but not too much. I'm gonna do one more trace, but I'm gonna just do a design trace. Okay, that's perfect. All right, so then I'm gonna just make sure that foam is pushed up in there good, and then I'm gonna go ahead and get it started. So this design is gonna take about 18 minutes to stitch out, and then so I'm gonna let that stitch out, and then I will be back at the table. I'll show you the cleanup process and as well as the end result. So I'm gonna go ahead and hit start on mine and let it do its thing. And I'm just holding the foam initially, and then I'm gonna just let it go. All right, y'all, we are all stitched out. So I'm gonna grab my shirt off the machine here, and that is how we're looking. So looking good. And I like to leave my hoop on for this part. So I'm gonna peel away that foam. You wanna be kind of careful with this. I mean, you can't rip it up, but be careful at the same time. Don't rip it, like just rip it off too fast. Okay, and then I have my tweezers, so this is going to help get in there and grab the pieces of foam that's like stuck off in the letters and things like that you can't, you may be able to get it with your hands, but if you can't, use your tweezers. And then for any foam that's kind of stuck in between, that's when you'll really need your tweezers. All right. And so another thing about foam is that there's going to be foam that may be sticking out. So you'll just want to take the make sure you have sharp tweezers, and you just want to kind of poke that back in there. And so I just go one letter at a time. And then you just want to poke that foam back in there wherever it may be sticking out at. Which is another reason you want to use the same color foam as the thread that you're using. So just in case something doesn't show, your foam doesn't show through. And then I'm just poking this in here on the sides. Now when you peel the foam up, it should be pretty much ready to go, but you will have some foam sticking out. So this is the first part of the process. So just taking the tweezers, poking anything that's sticking out back underneath the threads. And I would say this is probably the part of it, the cleanup process, that's probably going to take you the longest, honestly. Once you get the foam cleaned up, then you'll be good to go. And I look for any large pieces. You definitely want to make sure you tuck those. And really all you have to do is just poke it, and it's going to go right back in up under the thread. So it's really, really easy. Like I say, it's just a little bit tedious, but the end result is worth it. And then we'll clean it up with the heat gun. And when using the heat gun, what that does is also it'll help get any pieces of foam that maybe you missed, kind of tighten up the look a little bit, because it'll actually kind of shrink or melt that foam. Well, you don't want it to melt it, but it'll shrink that foam. So that you definitely do want, because you don't want any big pieces of foam sticking out. But yeah, that heat gun will definitely help you get your design cleaned up. And we are almost there. Only got a few more letters left. And this one didn't have a whole lot of foam that's sticking out, which is really good. Which means I digitized my letters pretty tight, or my stitches really tight, which is also really good. And y'all, I didn't even do a test stitch on this design. I was just like, you know what? I'm just gonna stitch it out. But I'm always the person that says, make sure you do a test stitch just to make sure that your design is gonna come out right, or that you don't need to make any adjustments. So I took a chance on this one and it turned out good. Okay, we're on the last letter. This one doesn't look too bad. And I'm really just going up the sides of the letter, like around the letter is where you'll see most of it sticking out at. And that's what you'll want to get tucked back under. And have a little bit more here. All right. So I am gonna go ahead and hit it with my heat gun. And I like to put mine on high, and you want to have it about 10 inches or so away. You don't want to have it right on there because you could burn your garment, or, you know, in this case, could melt your foam. So don't have it too close, especially if you have it on high. And then I'll kind of go letter by letter as well, just to make sure it's cleaned up and that foam shrinks. And you'll definitely notice the difference right away once you add the heat to it. Looks good. I see a couple other small pieces that I need to tuck. All right. Then I'll go ahead and grab my hoop. And I still got to clean up the inside as well. So I'm gonna put my hoop back over here. And then I'm gonna turn my shirt inside out so I could clean up the back. And it turned out really good. I'm gonna use my picking shears. First, I'm gonna grab my lighter just to get my threads. You can just use a scissor and cut your threads, or you can use a lighter. Just be careful. I like to make sure I still have my stabilizer on when I'm burning the threads. Okay, we're good there. And I'm using my picking shears just because it makes it look a little bit more polished when you cut your stabilizer. And I'll show you how that looks in case you haven't used picking shears before. So it kind of almost gives it like a little zigzag finish. All right, so then that's how it's going to look. It's going to give you like the little zigzag finish around your design. Then we'll turn that out. Oh, it turned out so cute. And that is how it turned out, guys. So that is using the 6mm foam again, or if you only have 3mm, you can also stack two pieces if you want more of a raised effect. Otherwise, you could do it with just the 3mm and you'll still get a nice 3D effect on it. But that is how it's looking. So that turned out really, really nice. Now, if you guys have any questions, let me know below in the comments. I also have this design available on my website, so you can purchase this design if you want to try it out, get you some foam, and let me know how it turned out for you. So if you're going to try this out, you guys let me know. I would love to see how your designs turned out. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I will have some more videos coming, making some new design or stitching out some new designs that I digitized. So I'll have those coming in the next week. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.